Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount everything on the intake manifold that I can for now. I'm going to put the fuel injection unit on here, thermostat in the housing. I got to put a plug in this hole. I don't use this hole. This temperature sending unit goes in here for the fuel injection, and then the heater hose goes in this one. Back here is for vacuum lines. I'm a distributor. Right now I just have my priming tool stuck in there just to keep stuff from falling down in that hole down into the engine. And then I've got to put a little fitting back here for the oil pressure switch. My goal was to pre-lube this thing after I got it put together and then pre-lube it again once I got it in the car. But dummy me, I put the cordless drill on yesterday and spun this thing around. And next thing you know, I had oil shooting out of this oil pressure hole. I forgot to plug that. So, needless to say, I'm not going to be able to pre-lube it any more than I already have until I get it in the car, which is no big deal. It's probably going to be a few weeks before I can actually get this put back in the car. But I want to get it as far along as I can in the meantime and have it ready to go in the car as soon as I'm able to get it put in. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is put the carburetor on, or fuel injection, I guess you should say. So I've got studs to put in the holes here, and I'm just putting a little bit of blue Loctite on the threads, not very much, just something to kind of keep them locked in there. And just barely snug them down. And I'll have Loctite hold them in there. Be careful working around this hole, or any of the holes on here, I guess. Because if you drop anything and it goes down in there, you're going to be taking some parts off probably to get it back out. Or if you drop something in there and you don't realize it, and you fire this thing up, you might have a disaster. So make sure you're being very careful with tools and everything around these openings, because you don't want anything to go down in there. Okay, I think it goes like that. This is a gasket that came with the fuel injection. Make sure all your mating surfaces are good and clean and there's no debris in there that could fall down in the engine while you're putting this on. Sits down on there like that. Now I'm just going to hand tighten these nuts down for now, because I'm going to need to hook up my throttle linkage bracket and everything, which means I'll have to take these nuts back off once I get it in the car. But for now, I just want it on there mainly to keep the engine clear of any debris or any openings on the engine that something could go down in them. Okay, this fitting here comes with the Loctite on it already, the pipe sealer on it, so you don't have to put anything on it. Just screw it down in there, and you don't want to torque the heck out of this, because if you crush that, you could damage the internal mechanism of the sensor. So, okay. Next thing I'm going to put in is this plug right here, and I'm going to put some of this gasket maker anaerobic. It's actually like a gasket maker combination thread locker. So. Okay. And I always test fit all these, make sure they would screw in. And again, these are tapered threads, so you don't want to force them down in there and over tighten them, because you could crack your intake. So you just screw it down until it tightens down good, and that's it. And then just wipe off your excess thread locker. And this is an anaerobic thread locker, so it takes the absence of air to set up. So if you leave any on there, you don't have to worry about it, because it's not going to get hard for a long time. So you can come back later and wipe it off. It's not like regular silicone. You know, once you put it on there and it dries, it glues itself to the metal pretty quickly. So, okay, I've got the fitting that goes in over here. This fitting looks kind of ugly, but once you get it in there, the hose comes all the way down to here, and all you'll see is that hex, really. So there we go. Now I'm going to put just a little bit of this gasket maker thread locker on around here. Layer to kind of help that gasket seal. Drop the thermostat down in there. It just sits down that little pocket. Okay, I went in and put a little bit of that gasket maker on the top surface of this gasket. And again, this is a Felpro gasket. It came with the engine gasket kit I bought when I bought the heads and intake from Summit. And now I've got my thermostat housing. One thing I want to do, and I forgot to do, is I want to go ahead and put some of that on the threads. Put that on the threads. Snugging those down. Back and forth just a little bit, and that should do it. Okay, the only thing I have left to do now is the distributor. I got to put it in. So this is a line that goes to the O2 sensor here from the throttle body, so I'm going to snap that in place. I don't like how much extra I have here. I'm going to have to see if I can route that. You have to be careful when you're running these wires, and I'll talk more about it when I'm hooking it up, but you don't want to like tie all these wires together and stuff, because the signals can interfere with each other and cause a malfunction of the throttle body. So I'm going to have to figure out if I can just run this back like that and zip tie it somehow to where it just looks a little nicer. So we'll get to that when we get to the throttle body part. For now, I think I'm going to stick some tape over these openings just in case. I mean, the butterflies are closed down in there, but it'd be my luck I'd drop a washer in there or something and not realize it, and then go to fire it up and wonder what that rattling is in my engine. Just to be safe. I've spent too much time and money on this to take any chances now, so. I could even take and put the air cleaner assembly back on here, but my stock air cleaner base won't fit on here without modifying it, and I'm not sure about my hood clearance yet with this. It's only, I think when I measured it, I think this was a 1/4 inch higher or 1/2 inch higher here. I can't remember, but I didn't think it was enough at the time when I measured it that it would hurt anything. But they do make offset base for your air cleaner, and you can buy it. It's made for this Holley Sniper, so I might end up just ordering that rather than modifying my factory air cleaner base. So anyway, let me get the distributor set up over here, and we'll okay, this is my pre-lube tool I purchased. It just goes down. It's got a flat in there that goes down into a notch in the oil pump shaft, and then it's got this spacer in here because there's an area in there that the distributor has to seal off where there's an oil passage. So in order to get oil pressure, you got to have this piece in there, down in there. It mimics the distributor when you put the distributor in, and then this is supposed to just kind of hold it centered in the top. But that's a tool I'll use to pre-lube it when I get to that point. Okay, the gasket kit comes with a new gasket for the distributor. I'm using this Ultra Slick pre-lube. I'm going to put it on this gear here, and again, this is probably, a lot of this is probably going to slowly seep off of this gear sitting for a few weeks here coming up. Now what I want to do, I've got the engine set on top dead center, compression stroke. So when I put this distributor in, I want that #1 cylinder firing position on the distributor to point towards the #1 cylinder. Right now, I'm going to take my distributor priming tool or oil pre-lube tool, and I'm going to take and try to turn this to where when I drop it down in there and it catches that and turns and falls in place. Okay, let me try to drop this down in there, and hopefully I got it close enough that it'll kind of fall in place as I put it down in there. Okay, now I can put the clamp on it. And again, I'm not going to tighten this down because I'm just going to hold it enough to snug it enough to hold that distributor in place, because I really, until I get ready to, I'm going to try to preset my timing, and I want to set it about 8 degrees before top dead center initially. So it should start okay that way and not damage anything when it fires up. That's pretty much it for now. I've got to run this hose, which I'll shorten it up. It goes into this fitting right here. This connector here will be for my brake booster. And then I don't think I'll need to use this one. I don't know, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do there. And this one, I'm just going to put it in there finger tight for now, because I'm not sure if I'm going to need that fitting in there or something different, depending on what vacuum lines I need to hook up after I get everything set in place. I'll determine that once I get to that point. So anyway, that's about as far as I can go. I'm going to go ahead and put this brass fitting in here. That's no big deal. That's for the oil pressure gauge. And other than that, I think I'm pretty much done with it for now. until after I get my surgery, which today is Friday, February the 3rd, and I go in on February the 9th to do get my shoulder replacement surgery. Hard to say fast 3 times. So I'm not sure if I'll get any more done to this before I go in for surgery. The next thing I need to do is I need to put the bell housing on it, put the pilot bearing in the end of the crankshaft, mount the flywheel, and dial everything in. The bell housing needs to run true with the center line of the engine, and I need to do that before I go mount the transmission on it. But anyway, I think that's all the further I'm going to go for now. So hope you enjoyed the video, and have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video.